New setup, so let me know how it looks. I think we should have decent audio. Let's just get going. If you have chats or anything you want to talk about, questions, hit me up with a super chat. We will stop what we were doing and make sure that we put some respect upon your name. All right, let's get going. Snow stream. Is this the first one we've done this year? Goodness, I can't remember. Nice dump of snow. Very happy about that. Now we're running the Yanmar today. Good morning, Mr. Evan. We're running the Yanmar today because the snow is pretty wet and heavy. And what I've learned is the old Caterpillar blower does not work very good with the snow blower or with the wet snow. It just clogs up and causes me no end of aggravation. How's the audio, gentlemen? I got a new audio setup. I'm hoping it's a little bit cleaner. Please let me know. I can make some adjustments if I need to. Oh yeah, we are plowing. Feeling good. Audio is great. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. For some reason, my windshield wiper did. Oh, it turned back on. It quit working. There we go. Well, that's good. I was worried about that. Good to hear about the audio. Okay, well, we struggle with the streams, but we learn. Oh, excuse me. Goodness. Not very clean. Well, it's probably about as clean as I can get through an iPhone. All right, here we go. Boy, this snow is big and heavy today. Got about 6 inches on the ground. Very happy to see that our good friend, the Arkansas Pilgrim. Goodness, this snow is heavy. I think we're going to have to shift into four-wheel drive here. No, I haven't sold the adventure van, but actually, I'm going to sell it. I pulled it around here. We got it all cleaned up, and this weekend I'm actually going to list it. I just hated to part with it so much, but I don't need two vans. I'd rather sell that van and buy some other cool things. This blade will fit on the Cat. Yeah, I have not done that, but the Yanmar does a good job too. It's kind of nice. You sit up high. It's very comfortable. It's like being in a greenhouse. Well, if Jack wants a van, he can buy his own van. I'm not trying to spoil the kid. I probably have already spoiled him too much. That's a fine line with kids. You want to take care of them. You want to give them all the things that you didn't have, but it can destroy them too, so you have to be careful with that. If you'd like to face-to-face, drop in a super chat. I will stop what I'm doing and address your questions or comments, concerns. Good morning, Mr. Rogan. Gotta get that angle just right. There we go. That's looking better. Why didn't I give it to him? I just explained why. If he wants a van, he can go buy his own van. East Coast Man, yeah, I noticed East Coast Man was getting a ton of snow. East Coast Man is absolutely buried. I found it pretty funny. See, I don't know a lot about East Coast man and his ways and his customs, but one thing that's funny in the city is I'd see that that people would live in the city would go out and shovel their parking spot. Now you don't have your own parking spot in the city per se, but I guess there's an unwritten rule that if you shovel a spot out and you go to work, that no one is to park in that spot. You leave that alone. You put the work in, you get to keep it. And there's there's all these videos of guys that come home and someone's parked in their spot, and oh, they're hilarious. They go to no lengths. They'll spend 2 hours shoveling, burying someone's car in a pile of snow just out of spite, which that makes me appreciate East Coast man just a little bit more. Won't be working on the woodshed today. It's just too miserable, wet and rainy. I might head out and go pick up the. I could, when I get done with the snowplow, I could head out and pick up the roofing material. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a metal roof on it. I'm not a big fan of metal roofs, but I think that that's fitting for the woodshed. I'll probably find something really dark, almost like a bronze or a black charcoal. I think that'll look nice. I'm going to paint the woodshed to match the house body, the body color of the house, which is an old Forest Service green from the 40s. Oh, the cabin is amazing. Cabin's done, looking good. It's very, very nice. I never thought that I would want a log home, but Mrs. W and I both are in agreement. Our next home, if we build a smaller home, it's going to be a log home. There's nothing like it. Gulf Coast man, I don't have any opinion on Gulf Coast man. The closest thing I know to Gulf Coast man is Texas man, and Texas man's always been good to me. Texas people are very hospitable. I would imagine Gulf Coast man is one and the same. But that is a godforsaken, miserable climate. You got to be tough to live down there. I can't imagine living in that godforsaken place. When you live in the mountains of the Pacific Northwest, it's just unimaginable going anywhere else. Ozark man. Again, Ozark man, you got to be tough to live in the Ozarks too, but that is another godforsaken, hateful climate, not fit for human habitation. The humidity and the bugs, and oh goodness, no thank you. One thing we don't have up here is we don't have bugs and we don't have humidity. And that's a lot. How much is an acre out here? Let's see, a 40-acre plot like next to us right here, with no just bare land, to be about $500,000. Well, maybe more. If it's got river on it and view, it could be closer to 3/4. So I'd say between 600 and 750 bare land. We do have a few ticks, but not very many. Not as much as Michigan man. Yeah, it is beautiful country up here. We've had a dismal snow season. I was thinking I might, if I can get done here with my chores, I might load up my snow bike and head up about 5 miles up to the snow park and just kind of punch in a little bit and see if we got 6 inches down here, there's a chance they got 12, 14 inches, up around 5,000-6,000 feet. I'm a little bit, I don't particularly like to go solo on snow bike, but if I stay on the roads, I'll probably be okay. Yeah, flooding, it's possible. 20,000 an acre. far be it for me to do math on a live stream. If 40 acres is, let's say, 600, oh goodness, what I hit? 600,000. How much an acre is that? Can someone do the math? Someone that maybe didn't have a public school education? Yep, the river camp. The river camp is in winter mode. We took the tent down this year, thank goodness. Oh goodness, we have a super chat. Stop everything. Marty's Outdoors coming with the super chat. Advice to a soon-be first-time father to a daughter. We are renovating our farmhouse. I'm self-employed contractor. Yeah, well, I can speak on that. Someone who has a daughter. One thing we have to be very careful of men is treating daughters like princesses. The Disney princess thing, you know, they gravitate to it. What it does, as much as you want to do it, and it's hard. You have to go against the grain. As a father to little girls, it's hard to discipline them. It really is. But you have to treat them like you would treat a boy. Don't inflate their egos. Don't blow them up. Don't make them think that they're a princess, because they are not. Not that they're not special, but they go through life with a sense of entitlement that is just unhealthy, and they're never satisfied. So keep them grounded, and don't treat them necessarily different than the boys, but more like the boys. You know, you're hard on the boys because you know it's a hard world. It's a tough world out there, and no one's going to cut them any slack. And you don't want them to go out there and get punched in the nose and not be used to it and have to deal with it. I'm not speaking physical violence, but you just mentally just make sure you prepare them. And girls, the same thing. Stay away from the Disney princess. Stay away from coddling them as much as you want to do it, and grow them up like you would boys, and give them skills too. If you're going to teach your boy how to weld and ride dirt bikes, teach your daughters how to as well, if that's what they want to do. The other thing is for fathers, it's really, really important to remember that you, when they're just little, that you stand in the place as a placeholder for the Almighty. So her impression of you, how you react when you discipline her, how you react in stressful situations, how you react, your kindness, your honesty, your integrity is going to imprint on her, and that's how she's going to project the Almighty. She'll reach an age of awareness, and your goal is not, I'm not saying that you're to be God, but that's your position. You take that position until you can turn her to the true God. And there, when she meets him, there shouldn't be a ton of difference between you and her. Also, be affectionate to your children. You know, a lot of the problems what's really destructive, especially with girls and boys as well, is being raised in single family homes. Girls that are raised by mothers sometimes never understand the kindness and gentleness of a man, because when they reach the age of 16, 17, 18, they start dating. Guys are not necessarily looking out for their best interest. They're just trying to use them for sex, get the access to their bodies. And if that's your first impression of a man, if you didn't have a loving, caring, tender-hearted man, a father who was really looking out for you in your home, and your first experience with man is someone that's trying to get into your pants, what opinion are they going to have of men after 10, 20 years in the dating scene, of people that have abused them because they make poor choices? And they make poor choices. A lot of it's their fault too, because they're looking to fill that emptiness that they didn't have because they didn't have a father. So be affectionate to your girls, be affectionate to your children, so she knows what true love and what a real man looks like. That a man is just not after her body, that's just not there superficial, that is actually cares about her, and it will help her to make better decisions. So those are two pieces of advice I would give you for sure. We have a super chat from Rob Gann. Rob Gann, 8428. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. All right, let us proceed. Shall we turn around? That's a good question. Disney princess syndrome is very destructive to girls. Very harmful. Disney is not your friend. Disney is not the friend of your children. Yeah, Disney princess syndrome. A very nice day to plow snow. Looks like the sun might even come out here. I'll clean up these edges here a little bit. Maybe when we get wrapped up here, I'll take you over there. We'll have a little look at the cabin. Oh, it's super wet. Yeah, it's definitely wet. Oh, Sweden's such a lovely place. As you know, Mrs. W's mother is Swedish. Mrs. W is half Swedish. She is a fluent Swedish speaker. She's lived over there. I've been over there several times myself. A wonderful country. The Swedish people have always been very friendly to me. And we've been out in the country, got to go out to Mora, and I really like Sweden. Sweden is actually very similar to the Pacific Northwest. Very beautiful. The food is terrible, but the pastries and the coffee are quite nice. What is my ancestry? German and Native American primarily. Cherokee. Oh, that's a very good question. Here, let me I got to back up, and I'm trying to read these. The text is quite small for an old man. Scouting in the Woods says, Cody, what are your thoughts on the excessive military buildup in the Middle East? Do you think it's just to put their thumb on Iran, or do you think we might actually be going to war? You know, I don't know any more about it than you guys, but man, it's terrible. It's terrible. You know, enough. How many countries, how many regimes have we tore down over there in the East? What business do we have over there? What has anyone done to us? Muslims, any of those people in these, have they done anything to us? We continually over there bombing it. No wonder why they hate us. I am very concerned. I don't think we have any business over there. And I don't know, and I wonder sometimes who it is that really is pulling the strings. Who are we defending? Are we defending us, Americans, or are we defending another nation that has infiltrated our nation? I mean, you don't have to be a political analyst to see what's going on here. It's shameful. We got our own cities that are going to pot. They couldn't even, and I wonder how successful they're going to be. They couldn't even go into Minnesota or wherever it was up there and deal with the thieving Somali scammers. They went up there, they couldn't even handle that. A few protesters chased them out and they're gone, and they capitulated, and they failed in that. If they failed to take a U.S. city or to clean up a U.S. city that's obviously being scammed and continues to do it, what business do we have over nation building in the East? It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible. The American people, if we see a carrier or a couple of our ships and our boys and girls get hurt over there for this senseless, needless nonsense, the American people they're not behind this. Donald Trump is a liar and a fraud. He has lied. He has went back on everything. He is a disgraceful person. Anyone that can still be MAGA and still be trusting the plan, you have to be either a retard or on drugs. He never follows through on anything. He never does what he says he's going to do. He ran on a campaign of no more foreign wars, and we've had nothing but wars the whole time. And we're a year in. It's disgraceful. Disgraceful. We have a super chat from Country Boy. Shout out to you, Country Boy. Thank you. Country Boy says, my 5-year-old son now says she's chooching. Yes. When the fire gets going, thank you for that. Yeah, well, I can't take credit for that. That is chooching. Chooching comes from a YouTuber, a Canadian YouTuber by the name of AVE, which I really like. He's probably one of the smartest guys on YouTube, and he's I don't know what he does. It's all super secret, but I think he's maybe in the mining industry or something. But yeah, that's what he came up with that. She's chooching or she's a choocher, and it's very Canadian. But yeah, I like that too. Chooching, it fits into so many categories, doesn't it? Or just it's so easy to use. I'm happy to see it. Just make sure you roll in skookum too. Skookum's pretty good. She's a skookum choocher if you really want to. Well, come on. If you really want to put the cherry on top. Oh goodness, I'm a retard. All right, break off. Let us proceed. I guess we probably could clean up this edge here, and then we'll go hit the roundabout. Get it nice and wide for Mrs. W. Good morning, Mr. Daniel. We got a big party tonight. The war band's coming over to the shop. I had Mrs. W put it on the calendar. The war band's been playing Ark Raiders. It's an online game that we really, really like. And there's a whole bunch of new content that dropped today. And I got the update all on, and the boys are coming over at 6, and I'm really looking forward to that. So those of you that are in the war band, I do a private, members-only daily live stream, daily, right, for the war band members every morning at about 9:30, and I shared my gamer tag, and I've been playing with some of those guys. So if you like to play Ark Raiders, you might see me online tonight with the boys. Clean out here in front of the shop. Yeah, I haven't played the new mode or the new modes yet, but I will be playing tonight, Lord willing. Yeah, Sweden, there's a lot of good things comes out of Sweden, but a lot of bad things too, but we all have our problems. Goodness, America lives in a glass house, shouldn't be casting any stones, that's for sure. But there are worse countries too. It's not the American people that are the problem. That's what's so sad. A lot of folks that don't live here might think that we are our government, and that couldn't be further than the truth. We hate them just as much as you do. More. More. Yeah, the blade pivots. It pivots four direction blade. So this is all done hydraulically. So it's a real nice blade. 8-foot blade. Oh, not 9, maybe 9 foot. It's a big one. Yeah, I saw the Mike Huckabee. I don't trust Tucker Carlson. He is one. You gotta be careful. He's a. Here's the way I see it, gentlemen. I mean, it's. I think we've been trained to look, when we look at politics and we look at the left and the right, to think that there's them and us, that there are just two competing interests, and that couldn't be further from the truth. That is the understanding of a child. There are many competing interests. There is the competing interest. The FBI may have a different interest than the CIA, than the White House, than the left. There are many people and many powerful people that have competing interests in things. So it's never so cut and dried as to who is doing what for what. And you can never really know. It's so confusing. Tucker Carlson He is deeply rooted in intelligence, the CIA. His father was involved in the CIA. He is most likely controlled opposition for whatever interests they are. And just because a man may say something that you agree with, and you think, well, he's one of us, he's one of our guys, that's not necessarily the case. He's very clever, he's very intelligent. You know, he's probably a billionaire. And he tries to come off like he's the common man, and he likes to drink beer and wear his LL Bean shirt and flannel just like you. He is not like you. He is blue blood, he is East Coast royalty, and he has deep, deep ties in intelligence. So be careful. Be careful with that. You know, the devil can't come to you typically if you are rooted in Christianity with a temptation that is so absurd and so far away from your core beliefs. You're going to see that for what it is, and you're going to reject it. What he does bring is he brings 90% truth with just a little bit of a lie, just a little bit of a twist so that you accept it. It's like if someone were going to try to poison you, and they put this drink down in front of you, and they said, here, drink this, and it's like burning and foaming and off-gassing and melting the glass. You're like, I'm not drinking that. That's not going to be effective. What is effective is to give you a glass of water with one drip of cyanide in it. It looks like water. It smells like water. It tastes like water. But in that water is poison. So that's what you have to be careful with that. He eviscerated Huckabee. And what a moron. I mean, that was very similar to Ted Cruz. It's hard to believe that these retards, Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, with their childlike understanding of Scripture, are actually making policy. Gentlemen, we are not in good hands. If that's the way they think, and that's their mentality, and that's their understanding of Scripture, and they're making policy according to that, we would be better off to have a monkey in office. It's frightening. And how are they going to behave, and what are they going to do under a real crisis? Like gentlemen, we think that the military and the government has got everything locked down and everything's going to be handled if we are invaded, or if we have a major crisis or a national power outage or an EMP. They are not going to be effective. Look how FEMA performs. Look how the DMV performs. Look how government handles everything. I was over helping with that big flood over there in Tennessee. And I saw what a boondoggle it was and how ineffective they were. And they were just useless. They were actually a liability. Goodness, man, it's amazing to me that we get along as well as we do. And it has nothing to do with the government. It's only because of the exceptional Americans in the private sector that anything happens at all. But as far as that interview, goodness, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Of course we're involved. Of course. Oh no, that's a fail. Sorry, gentlemen. My bad. Yeah, we are invaded. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, how long have we been bitching about this, gentlemen? How long have we been bitching about politics, and what's it going to change? Voting doesn't work. I'm not voting anymore. The only thing we can do is go cut firewood, enjoy your family, move to a place where you can have the least amount of contact and deal with people and government and be as independent as you can, and that's all a man can ask for. Collect axes and burn firewood. Yep, there's something to be said for that. There's no place to go. There's no place to hide. I think I'm going to build up a little pile here, and then we'll just push it all out at once. Nick Fuentes, again, a lot of things Nick Fuentes says are good. He shows a lot of courage, but also I talked about everyone has a master. Who's his master? Is he truly independent? You have to ask yourself, who is it that he never speaks any bad about? That's how you know who your master is. And I am somewhat concerned if Nick isn't sometimes controlled opposition for the Catholic Church, which is in direct opposition to us Protestants. You will never hear Nick say anything negative about the Catholic Church, and there's plenty negative to talk about. So I don't know. Old at Heart's coming in. It says, this all stems from the dispensational versus replacement theology perspective. At least we have progress past it. Yeah. Well said. Exactly. Just like the early Americans with you've seen the flag. Oh man, I'm chewing up my grass. Good grief, what a disaster. We got too deep there. The only thing we can appeal to, we can't appeal to our government. Law enforcement is our enemy, the brown shirts of our generation. The only thing we can appeal to is to heaven, is to the Almighty. Goodness, Mr. Jacob T. coming in with the super chat. Let me read this, and I'll put you on the screen. Jacob T. says, loving the turquoise pendant, brother, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding, and he shall guide you in all your ways. Yes, absolutely. Mr. Jacob T. is a member of the war band that he made for me this beautiful turquoise pendant, which I very, very much like. It's probably one of my favorites. I get more comments on this than anything else, and from having some Native American heritage, it's very fitting, and it absolutely gives me the fizz. I think about you, Mr. Jacob, every time I wear it, and I really like it. Okay, let's not tear up the grass. Yep, turquoise is very Western. And this is a very nice piece of turquoise. I get more compliments on this. Every time I wear it out, someone asks about it. It's quite stunning. And being set in sterling silver is nice too. Let's push out a little bit right here. Kingsman turquoise. Yeah, that's funny. I think I looked that up. I took a picture of it and put it into ChatGPT and went down that rabbit hole and got a very good education on all the different turquoises and what areas they come from. It was quite interesting. Yeah, we're really concerned, Evan, about the fire season this year. The snowpack is dismal. Not only here, but also in the Rockies, a lot of places. California. Haltz Brooks versus Grand Forks Brooks, they're both very nice. I have only personally owned, I think, one Haltz Brooks, so I can't really say. I don't have a lot of experience with it. Well, I would disagree on that. You know, the bickering back and forth between the Catholics, Orthodox. We're too far apart. There's no coming together. A Protestant's not coming together ever with a Catholic. They change the Ten Commandments. They worship on the wrong day. I mean, they pray to idols. They pray to Mary. They put Mary on basically the same plane of Christ. They put an intermediary between you and God with their priests. I mean, it's not compatible. It is oil and water, and there will never be any reconciliation. Any reconciliation or acceptance of those things are contrary to Scripture, in my opinion. There's no reconciliation. And we don't hate our Catholic brothers, not at all. What we don't like is the system. There are many of God's people in the Catholic Church, in the Mormon Church, in the Jehovah's Witness Church, but they're coming out. In their ignorance, God winks, but there comes a time when you become aware of the heresy that you need to make a decision. But I'm not going to get into a religious discussion in the snowstream, so I'm going to ignore these questions. If you want to talk about that, you can join the war band, and we talk about that all the time. I'm not sure on the whole AirPods thing. I mean, it's easy to get blackpilled on that stuff. When you start to become aware of how many things are against you, that your food is poisoning you, that your air is poisoning you, that the produce and the vegetables you buy in your grocery stores pretty much lack all nutrients and are sprayed with all sorts of chemicals. The clothing that you wear is killing you. The plastic bags, the plastic toothbrushes, on and on and on. It gets to the point where it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, you can become manic. People become crazy trying to protect themselves from all these things. And you do the best you can. God put us in this environment. This is where we live. And the way I see it is that we do the best we can with the knowledge that we have, and ultimately it's His responsibility to look after us, because He told us that He knew what we had of need of before we asked, and that we should not be worried about things. I mean, you can make yourself crazy trying to worry about all this stuff all the time. Here's what I think, gentlemen. Eat whole foods. Locally grown whole foods. Stop drinking alcohol, stop vaping, stop smoking and drinking. Get yourself fit, get lean, get strong. Be careful what clothing you wear, only wear natural fibers. Eat whole foods, eat natural fibers. Walk 3 meals a day, drink water, enjoy your family. Be grateful every morning when you wake up. Thank the Almighty for what you have. Don't be discontented. Don't compare what you have with what others have. Enjoy your families and live in peace. The best ammo that I've used for 22s is CCI. The worst I've ever used is Remington Lightning, which about 1 out of 5 is a misfire. I have not heard of that folding stock kit, but that's the nice thing about the 1022 is there are so many cool accessories for it. I have a, oh goodness, I have a 1022 with a folding stock on it from the 90s that I had when I was a boy. I think I probably have 5 1022s. Do I think Sasquatch is real? I've never seen one. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't surprise me. Let's see, I'm going to turn around here and clean out in front of the shop. It looks like it. I think we got about 4 or 5 inches last night. If not quite 6. The Duratrack tires have been real good, as long as you air them down. I've been actually using them up in the snow quite a bit, and I've yet to have to put the chains on. And I've been so deep I was pushing snow with the axles, but I had them aired down to 20 psi too, which worked really good. I gave my take on Iran about 20 minutes ago. You can rewind the stream and catch my rant. I don't know what's going on. I haven't heard from Jason for some time. Oh goodness. Caught an edge there. Good grief. Hope I didn't break that concrete up. That's the problem with the snow plows. It's hard on stuff. It does a lot of damage. Yeah, I don't know much about Iranian women. You know, in all honesty, I don't know what it is about Arab women, but they seem scary to me. I would not feel comfortable falling asleep with an Arab woman in my bed. I would not feel comfortable with that. I'm sure they're fine, but I would not choose to let down my guard around one. They seem like they look like they want to stab you all the time. They always look at you with hateful eyes. Maybe it's just me. We'll leave that up to for the Arab men. More for you. Mexican women? No, not really into that. 9 out of 10 of them turn into a torta. Somehow they get shorter and fatter. They look cute and all when they're young, but my goodness, they do not age well. They age like milk. No tortas. I do like tacos. I'd take a Mexican woman over an Arab woman 1,000 times. Toro's been super good. We haven't had a lick of problem with it. Really like it. I have never owned a Blaze King. Nope, I have not. The wood stoves that I like my favorite is I think Hearthstone makes about the best wood stove. A Hearthstone soapstone stove or a hybrid that's what I buy. We bought one. We bought a different one for the cabin that we really like too, and that's that's an Osborne. It's made in Canada, OSBURN, and it's half the price of a Hearthstone, and it's a very nice stove. I would definitely look at one of those. They're a great value, and they're a very nice stove. My take on the files, I mean, we've probably seen 2% of them. They're lying when they tell you that they've released half of them. They have not. Well, I mean, it just confirms what many of us have known for the whole time, that the world is ran by Satan-worshipping pedophiles. And you thought you were free? You thought you had free speech? And no, Alex Jones was right. We live in a prison planet, and we have since the fall of man. Americans have nothing against the Iranian people. Our government has told lies and demonized, turned Iran into a boogeyman that it never was. Iran, the people in Iran are some of the highest IQ people in the entire world. They are a very family-oriented and good people. They have lived under tyranny for so long, worse than what we've had to live through. We have more in common with the Iranian people than we do with a lot of nations. And don't believe the narrative that these are our enemies. They are not. There are demons pulling the levers of power, painting this narrative, but do not believe it. They are not our enemies, and real Americans don't support this getting involved with Iran at all. Iran should be our ally, and would be if we could all sit down together. But there's a small country in the east that stirs up all this and tells lies and has been the synagogue of Satan since the beginning. And you're manipulated by it. You listen to it and you think that the narrative from Fox News and CNN is the truth. Gotta take care of our mailman. they're going to mess around over there and get involved in something that we shouldn't be getting involved in. Wait till a couple of those carriers go down. The tide will turn on foreign wars. Our country will not be for that. Hopefully they put enough pressure on these crooked politicians. These politicians are profiting from it. They're waging war because they're getting financial gain for it. They're sacrificing the lives of your sons and daughters so that they can be wealthy and rich. And they try to wrap it up in patriotism. God will judge. When I used to see our military power, I'd see an aircraft carrier or those big ships, submarines. I was always very proud to be American and of the American military and such. And now when I see those things, in my mind, it seems like the Star Wars music starts playing and I'm looking at the Death Star. Welcome, Germany. Of course, we love all things German here. Just going to clean up the edges a little bit here. Yes, a clean and efficient workspace is one of the pleasures of life. Changes your whole attitude. My advice for a first-time homeowner: don't be too quick to go in and start tearing walls out and changing everything. Just enjoy it. It's such a joy to be able to buy your first home and move in and have your own place. No one telling you what to do. And you can destroy that whole experience if you're like me, because the first thing you start doing is like, oh, we're going to move the kitchen, we're going to add a bathroom, we're going to do this, we're going to start tearing this out. And what was a great joy now is turning into a great burden and misery. Live your life. A house is not that important. What's more important is making memories with your family, spending time with them. You don't stay in houses very long anyway, so don't get too worried about it. You have to remember that we were never designed to live here. This is not our home. We are living in enemy-occupied land. So there's no point of putting down too many roots. Lay up your treasures in heaven, and remember, the place that you were always designed to be is with the Almighty. So don't let anything distract from that. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have nice things and enjoy your life here. We should absolutely do that. But don't make it your God. And don't make your house your God, because it can be very consuming. And it's never good enough. There's never enough. Just like ammunition. You can never have enough. You can never have... You buy the IKEA cabinets and you got this beautiful kitchen and you're like, oh, I wish I would have had custom plywood dovetail drawers and all that. You know, it's always going to be something. So do what you have to do. Do good work. But enjoy it. Don't be discontent with what you have. Well, I'll tell you what, Brandon, how about we just take a quick drive over there and we'll do a little log cabin update. Which better, Ironheart or Samurai? There is no better. They're both the best. I have both of their things. Uh, I can tell you some of the differences. I think Samurai seems a little bit more. Samurai's a little. Their denim is quite a bit different. It's more slubby, and it fades and gets character much quicker. It takes forever to break to get a good sick fade on Ironheart, whereas Samurai takes about half the time. Samurai also has a lot of really nice personal touches, like a lot of things that are unique that just make them special, like gold-plated buttons. They'll do runs on that. They'll do cool stitching. They do really, really cool bespoke fabrics on their pocket bags, and they do a lot of really cool, like short run, small run stuff that is really cool. So I can't say that I have a favorite. I like both of them. It really kind of comes down to what fits your body best. I have the last pair of Samurais I bought a pair of their like 25th anniversary 25 ounce, and they are, as far as craftsmanship and just uniqueness, they're probably the coolest selvedge denim that I have. I really like them, but it's not to say that I don't like my Ironheart either. So they're both excellent. Mr. Peter has been caretaking the cabin this winter. So he's not home today, so that's why the wood stove's not going. As far as an update, it's better than I could. Oops! Oh goodness, making a mess here. It's better than I could expected. We got the nice coating on it, which turned out so good. It looks natural. I was telling the guys, so this cabin was built by our friends up in Montana, Meadowlark Log Homes. I can't speak highly enough for that company. They are some of the best people I've ever worked with. The craftsmanship, the skill, the quality is A1, top tier, best of the best. Yep, that's a Starlink on the porch here. So when they approached us to do a cabin, we worked with them and we changed a lot of this cabin. Like all of the window layout, the interior, everything, even the roof pitch was all Mrs. W and I's design. It varied quite a bit from their original plans. So we added the maximum amount of windows possible, the biggest windows we could. I changed the roof pitch to 12-12 because that's what looks. There's nothing. The quintessential. All cabins, in my opinion, should have a 12-12 pitch. That's a true 45. Aesthetically, it looks beautiful. We put big logs, big overhangs. We moved the front door to the side instead of the middle. We changed the loft interior. We changed the whole kitchen layout. We changed everything inside, and the floor plan on it is just so nice. We just got an email. This is kind of fun from Meadowlark. Oh goodness, I forget his name. It just escaped me. Goodness, the owner. Sorry, I can't remember. It'll come to me here. Jalon is building his own, and he sent us an email, some pictures. They're copying our floor plan. They're copying everything exactly the way we did it. So that was a nice compliment because it really lives well. It's amazing. We have friends and family that come and stay in it, and it can easily sleep 8. You could even push it to 10 if we had to. But we got 4 bunks upstairs, so you can easily sleep 4 up there. You can sleep 4 downstairs. We have the couch that turns out into a bed, and it's just a neat place. We got full hookups. It's got hookups for washer and dryer, full bath, everything. We talk about this a lot. The Warband. If you was a single guy, You would never need any more than that right there. That would be the perfect size house. It's what, 16 by 24 with a half loft upstairs. And if you had that and a nice 40 by 40, 40 by 60 shop, man, you could just really want for nothing more. It's really, really nice. And the insulation, I mean, the wood stove, you have to run the wood stove on low. It burns almost no wood. It's so well insulated. We did a cold roof with foam, spray and foam on the roof, and it's so cozy and so warm and so efficient. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. All right, we'll take a little drive around we'll go take a look at the winter war camp, and then we'll pack it in. Yeah, we'll go give you a tiny forest update. Goodness, it is getting wet. My pleasure, Brandon. The scanner, I don't know the model number, but there's really only one. If you want to have a scanner that's worth, none of the scanners are worth having unless you get a digital, and I think it's the Bearcat. Can one of the middlemen or the warband members pull up the scanner that we recommend that Evan sells? I see we got a new log that just jammed up there in the river. That's new. They have two of them. They have a base station, they have a mobile. I've got both of them, and they're excellent. I think the scanner is just as important as the radios. Yeah, I can tell you, gentlemen, talking about houses, I've had so many houses, and everything from over 100-year-old log homes to 100-year-old farmhouses to living in a 6,500 square foot, high-end craftsman house to crummy little houses. I have rentals, and I grew up in construction and remodel. I mean, I get it. I get it. Think small. When you think about houses, don't be like the boomers. The boomers had it wrong. They built terrible homes, poor quality, no thought to livability, just the worst. You want a home that's cozy and small. You don't have a small footprint. You don't need that much. Houses are for women anyway. So think about what the houses that they built post World War II, those were the perfect houses. They were 1,300, 1,200, 1,400 feet. They were 3-bedroom, 1 bath, modest kitchen, modest living room, 2-car garage. Man, you just don't need any more than that. Your property taxes are going to be less. Your wear and tear, your maintenance, when you have to paint the thing, when you have to put a roof on it, when you have to replace your windows, it's a fraction of the cost. Just like Mrs. W and I look at this monster that we live in, this boomer McMansion, and the cost, you almost have to have a staff to run the place. I mean, it is so big and there's so much to take care of, and the cost of replacing everything. I mean, just for example, just the furnace, the water boiler furnace in this place, and when that thing goes out, it's going to be 40, 50 grand. Putting a roof on it, you're going to cost 3 times. It costs 6 times, 10 times. I'll bet 10 times the cost of putting a roof on the house I live in versus that little cabin. And there's just keep it simple. Have a small footprint. Build a modest, small house that's good quality. Put your money into windows. Buy the best windows you can afford. Put your money into your flooring. Put something down, some good tongue and groove hardwood, oak or fir that's going to last. It's not going to off gas and poison your family. Don't use wood walls. Don't do drywall and all that garbage. You know, put the money there and keep it simple. Think about lighting. Think about livability. A small footprint, a small home. It's easy to clean. It's easy to take care of. A man should have a shop. Build a big shop. Minimum 40 by 40. Ideal 40 by 60. If you want to go bigger, you can. You know, but 40 by 40 is a nice size shop, providing you don't have to keep equipment in it. If you're going to keep equipment inside of it, maybe a tractor, maybe a skid steer, maybe your truck, then 40 by 60. 40 by 60 gives you enough room to keep your equipment inside and still give you plenty of room to have it inside, have a blacksmith shop, have a wood shop, have some welding table. That's really where it's at. I have two shops. They're both of them are 40 by 40. One shop is for storage, and one shop is my studio that I don't store things in. I only have things in there that I use and work with on a daily basis. We're going to head on down to the war camp. We'll check out the forest. There's not much to see. It's just all hibernating for winter. BMX, I'm not following your question. I'm not sure what you're asking me about. If I were 5'10", would be the best for splitting. You know, if you're going to do it for a business, you probably going to want to, I mean, if you're super motivated, you can split by hand, but that's a pretty tough way to go. I would look at getting a hydraulic splitter. Get something of good quality, you know, kind of stay away. You know, you got to buy what you get, what you have to. Sometimes you got to buy Harbor Freight stuff. I mean, it's better to have a Harbor Freight splitter than no splitter at all. But there would be a market. There's so much market for craftsmanship and artisans, and you could be a craftsman in the firewood business. You could market yourself as, you know, put out what you're doing, who you are on social media, on TikTok and YouTube. Be recording, use social media to grow your business, but offer something that the other guys don't offer. Most firewood guys, they're not scrupulous. They don't give you what you pay for. They're always shorting you a little bit. They tell you that the wood is dry when it's not. It's wet. It's dirty. It's, you know, it's not a great experience. If you can do it with excellence and market it, you know, like, what a great story. Like, I would be willing to pay an extra $100 for a cord of firewood from a guy that I'm watching his YouTube videos. He's a good kid. He's doing it properly. Everything is cut nice. It's stacked neatly. You come out to their house. Maybe you even, you know, charge enough where you offer the service of stacking it for it. When you stack it, it is neat, tight, and you give them more than they pay for. Make sure you always give them a cord, maybe plus a few pieces. And people, you know, people will get into that. And to see someone that's not just, you know, just running machines and, you know, that's aware of the environment and taking pride in what he does, you know, that artisan approach, that, I guess, I don't know how else to put it, that artisan approach to the business is cool. I saw a guy that had a business similar to this. He was doing a great job, and so what he did was he was selling, they weren't full cords, but he was basically getting a pallet, or building a little pallet and putting plywood sides on it and crisscross 2x4s on the back, and they would stack up the neat. The wood was stacked up tight. It was beautiful, and they shrink wrap it around. I don't know how much wood this held, but you could probably get 2 of those in the back of a pickup. He had like a Tommy lift and a pallet jack, and he would show up to people's houses, and it was super, super neat, and the wood was nice. And he would take the pallet rack, and he would take this whole thing out. It was tall. It was about 6, 7 foot tall. And he would bring it out. It would come down on the Tommy lift, and with the pallet jack, he would run it right into their garage and sit it there. Boom, and it was done. No stacking, no moving wood. The people could. It would just leave the pallet there, and when they were done with it, he would come and get the pallet and bring them another one and just exchange it. And it was simple for them. They didn't have to stack it. They didn't have to worry about a mess. The wood was clean. Just rolled it in there, and it was a cool business. You know, he's probably charging a premium for that service, but you go to the places where you sell the firewood to people that maybe don't necessarily need it, but they want the ambiance. You know, they've got some money. Maybe they have a small wood stove, or they got a fireplace. Maybe they're going to burn a quarter, half a cord of wood. They're willing to pay for that service. You're professional, you're neat, you're likable, you have a good personality, you're offering something that no one else offers. You can charge double, triple of what your regular, just your low value brand firewood guy is going to get. You know what I mean? So look at it that way, and you could do really well with that, really well. Offer some kindling. You know, how cool would it be if you were so thoughtful that when you were able to stack your firewood in this prepackaged deal, that you were smart and you set it up so that every time they grab a load of firewood, you've put in there just enough pieces of kindling where they never have to stop and cut kindling. You know, you can offer that service and do it excellently. No one else is doing that, and you can charge a premium for that, and people will pay for that. And they're also watching you cut it and seeing your personality on social media. It's you could build an extraordinary business if you would follow that plan, for sure. Joseph says, I built and sold 2 businesses. You need to stand out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do the absolute best you can. Yeah. And your competition among your peers is not very stiff, because most guys are lazy and they're all about just a quick buck. And the service economy is by and large just gone. So if you can offer that, you can name your price. You can charge a double. But you have to do it excellently. You have to offer what no one else offers. But there absolutely is you could make a good living in that if you took that approach. Looks like we got about 5 inches, if I had to guess. All right, let's continue our odyssey here. Beautiful snowy day. Oh, for axes, yeah, I mean, either way, you know what I'd probably look at, I think probably the best bang for the buck, if you want something that's going to last and be good quality, go buy yourself either a Husqvarna, or maybe better yet, I'd probably go and just buy yourself a Stihl, like the Stihl Chainsaw Company. Their line of axes are really nice. They're overbuilt. The handles are a little bit fat for my liking, but that's something you can custom tailor yourself. You can take a 4-in-hand rasp, and if you find that it's too big for your hands or it's uncomfortable, then just make it fit. Change it to what you like. But they're good steel, good head design, and they're affordable. They're not overly priced. So I would take a look at those. They're really nice. And you can get them for under $100. You want a maul and a wedge, and you want a good splitting axe with at least a 28-inch handle. Predictions for post-boomer America. Well, a lot of the things that they put a lot of importance upon, like these big houses in these suburbs, younger people, one, can't afford the property taxes, the upkeep, and even to purchase these gigantic McMansions that they all built. And two, they don't want to live in that environment. They don't want to live in the suburbs. They want a more of a communal type of living. They want to be able to walk to the store, to a coffee shop. They want to be, they don't like that suburban living, and I don't either. It's terrible. So what happens when there's more supply than there is demand? The prices on these things are going to come way down. And even if you can buy them, people will buy them, but a lot of them are just going to be vacant. You're seeing the price of Harleys going in the toilet. Harley-Davidson company is going broke. Lots of different reasons, but nobody wants to ride these boomer bikes. And all of their classic cars, like no one wants Model T, Roadsters. We want things from our childhood, not things from their childhood. So a lot of the things that had value, great value for the boomers, younger generations, they have no interest in it whatsoever. As a Gen Xer, I can appreciate a 32 Ford and a 40 Ford and a 50 Mercury, those cool old vintage, those cool muscle cars and such. My son has no interest in that. Zoomers don't have any interest in that. They didn't grow up with it. They don't know about it, and they're not going to pay for it. So it's funny to watch this. We've got these boomers that have bought these massive car collections, and now they're dying, and they can't sell them because nobody wants them. So you're going to see a lot of that. We just have different values. Just different values. Boomers thought that they were virtuous if they had more stuff and bigger homes. And younger generations put more importance upon relationships and lifestyle, more so than appearance. Everything is going to degrade. Everything is in decline. Yeah, I mean, I guess the way I'd look at it is you kind of want to get yourself set up in a defensible position. Get land that you can have enough space that you can put up a house or whatever for your family, where it's going to be what's going to require is families and communities are going to have to work together. Not everyone is going to be able to have their a chicken in their pot and their own tractor or their own cow. It's going to get to the point where things are so expensive that you're going to have to share things. You're seeing it already with real estate. Multi-family dwellings are the thing now because people are forced to move back in and help each other out. And this notion, like when I was younger, you could just leave your home and go get a college degree and move halfway across the country, get an apartment in Chicago or New York and get by and thrive and do well. That ship has sailed. It's not sustainable. So get out of the cities. Crime is going to get worse. They are becoming more violent, more dangerous. The public school system is trash. So get in a position where you can have a couple acres and you can grow a little bit of your own food. You can have your own water. You can have a greenhouse, and you can insulate yourself from some of this. And get some guns. and a 6-month supply of food. Get your larder going. Stay out of debt. We're just taking a drive, checking up on things. We'll circle back around into the shop here in a bit. Won't be long, we'll be out here setting the irrigation again. I don't know. I mean, I'm always improving the irrigation. It's mainly, you know, I got the head gates and everything pretty well sorted out. I actually prefer to set the tarps. That works really good, and it's a whole lot less maintenance than those wood gates. There's a ton of maintenance on those things. What I'm improving is just continue every year to redirect the water to level the field. I still have a few spots that are not getting enough water to get dry, and so I'm always working on that. Temperature, I'm guessing, looks like the snow is dripping off the trees, so it's probably about 33 or 34. But I'm guessing we're going to get some more snow tonight. Wet snow, yeah, wet snow is not fun. I don't like it. It gives me the sads, as my son Jack says. My state's gun laws are among the worst in the nation. In the western states, there's a rift is developing between the leftist liberal cities and the folks that live not in them, the folks that live in the country. Our states are huge. And for example, you take Oregon, you've got 3 liberal cities. You got Eugene, Portland, and Salem. Good portion, you know, a lot of people live there, but the states are massive, and no one out in the country shares their values, and yet they're the ones that make all the decisions, all the gun laws, and put them upon us. So there's a lot of discontent and separation happening between what's going on in the cities and what's going on in the country. So I don't know if anything's going to manifest with it. But the way I look at it is this, is that I don't give 2 hoots in hell about what laws and restrictions they put upon us. In my opinion, that our right to bear arms and to protect our families is a God-given right and transcends anything that comes out of state government. So a man just needs to act accordingly. That's the way I look at it. There's always a way around everything. Yeah, Benjamin, unfortunately, we are just barely outside of that proposed border. Just west of it. No, I haven't. I haven't messed with any of those triggers. Those are. I mean, they're cool. It'd be fun to have one to play with. But those are a gimmick. I'm only interested in military proven type of equipment. And here's the fact with those is you don't have enough money and resources to take advantage of a select fire firearm. Select fire firearms are only valuable if you have an unlimited supply system like a state military would have. If you're buying your own ammo, if you're carrying your own ammo, if you are a Minuteman, a modern day Minuteman, you cannot afford to be having and using select fire. So I appreciate the workaround and getting over on the man and the bending of the rules. I think all that's cool. It's a novelty, but not something, and not to mention, you're not going to train for it. You're going to take it out, you're going to dump a couple magazines, and you're going to say, oh, that's expensive, and you're not going to be proficient with it. And it's a gimmick, and it's a fad. Or it's gimmicky. So that's the way I look at it. It's got no place in my arsenal. Would I like to have one? Would it be fun to go play with it? Dump a couple mags? Yeah, of course it would. But you'd be better off spending your resources elsewhere. And how do they react in extreme heat? How do they react in extreme cold? Where's the testing on that? I don't fool around with gimmicks on firearms that I might need to protect myself, that I absolutely have to work all the time. It's bump stock 2.0. All right, let's see if we can find a nice spot to park the old tractor. Oh my goodness, Nothing Fancy. I was enjoying Nothing Fancy's content from the very beginning. He's the one that gave me my first big break. He gave me a shout out, and I think it's safe to say that he was my inspiration to start a YouTube channel. 100%. I don't see too much. He doesn't upload too much anymore. The last video I saw he uploaded was maybe a month ago or so. Unless he's got a different channel that I don't subscribe to. I mean, you know how YouTube is when you don't... Sometimes stuff falls off your feed and you kind of forget about it. Sure I can fit here and still get in my shop. Let me try it. Nope, this is too tight. We'll take it over by the woodshed. Police trade-ins, older Bushmasters you can build off of. Yeah, the old Bushmasters, before they got bought out, were really good. They were on par with Colts at the time. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't know how. I mean, that's been a long time since cops had those. I don't know how they trade them in. I haven't seen those really coming around much on the secondhand market. If I was going to buy a brand new AR right now, like if I wanted to buy something that was the best, real nice, best bang for the buck. Geisley's the best you can get right now, in my opinion. A 14.5 Geisley, pinned and welded, is pretty much for the money for what you get. There's nothing finer right now. I'm glad to hear you're enjoying your Pendleton shirt in cold weather. It's really nice. I've been modifying mine. I've been cropping them, and I quit wearing them because I don't like the long tails hanging down. And ever since I've done that, I'm pretty much wearing them daily now. Old at Heart says, did you guys ever consider the article could have been a government initiative? I don't know what that means. Now, a PSA dagger? I don't know what that is. PSA dagger. I don't know what that is. The Battle Chemist says that, oh, there's a link for you. Yeah, that's a good way to go. Yeah, I wouldn't, unless you know what you're doing, unless you really know what you're doing, I wouldn't recommend for your first rifle that you build one out. There's people will tell you that it's just you just bolt stuff on, it's all the same. It's not that simple. It's not that simple at all. What you can build out is your lower receiver. Go buy an arrow. If you can, sometimes you can get a blemish from arrow. Get an arrow lower. Get a Geisley lower parts kit. You can totally build all that stuff yourself, but buy your upper. Buy your upper with the OEM bolt carrier group and complete. You know what? If you want to educate yourself, put the time in, buy the right tools. I'm not saying you can't build an upper that would be reliable. I can build an upper that's reliable because I've spent countless hours researching it and learning about it from armorers, and I have the tools and I know what I'm doing. But if you think you're just going to go buy a bunch of stuff off of Palmetto Armory from a bunch of different brands and expect it to be perfect, it may or may not, but it's not that simple. You got head spacing, you got gas porting. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to it. And these companies like Daniel Defense, BCM, Geisley, they have done the testing. They're building. I mean, you don't know more than they do. Trust me. Trust me. What's the best light for your rifle? Surefire Scout. What Northwest states? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, look how fast the world is changing. You thought you understood things 10 years ago, didn't you? How the world worked? And now we see that everything you thought you would have died, you would have taken it to the grave. You would have died on that hill, only to find out that everything was lies and complete opposite. So I expect the same thing to happen in another 10 years. 1400 for the URGI. Yeah, that's premium top of the line stuff too. I mean, that is the best of the best you can buy right now, in my opinion. I think the stuff that's coming, I think the URGI is better than anything that Knights is making currently. LMT. My top three would be LMT, Daniel Defense, and BCM, and Geisley. Geisley would be at the top of the list. Geisley and LMT. BCM is also really nice too. I don't have any of their stuff. I have friends. I've been around it before. It's really nice. Two-man saw restoration. I don't remember. Yeah, I am a petulant child. I have a short attention span. I get up on things and start things and sometimes don't finish them. I don't remember. Something sparkly and shiny got my attention and I moved on to it. I got many projects to do. This woodshed right here is my. I'm very keen to get the roof on that. That's kind of my latest muse. If I could put two to three more days on it, I'd have it wrapped up. Apart from the painting, which I'll wait until it dries. I'm not going to paint it when the wood's all wet, so I'll paint it this summer. We have a fellow Oregonian here. Chris says, Christian Oregonian, Portland at that, came across your channel when I was looking for a Mark 18 and for salvage denim advice. I'm enjoying both your channel. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Clyde says, would it be better to get a really cheap AR and then spend the rest on ammo and train until you get? I'm never advocating buying anything cheap. No, if you can't, when it comes to these important things, you're never going to be satisfied with it. So just don't do it. When you buy cheap, you have to buy twice. Because you go into it and you buy too early and you don't do your due diligence and you buy the wrong thing because you didn't know. And then you're dissatisfied with it and it's not reliable and it's not trustworthy. It's not the way to do it. And then you end up having to buy the one, you're going to buy the one that you wanted anyway. It's better for you to postpone until you can get the one that you want. That's the way you do it. Buy once, cry once. Buy quality. Always buy quality. You will never, ever hear from a man who has bought quality equipment, quality tools, ever hear regret. Never. You know what you will hear regret from? Buying trash. Get out of that mindset. Never buy trash. Brown, I don't follow guns anymore. Do you see that Brownell sells the Mark 18 uppers? No, I didn't know that. Oh, thank you, Montana man. That's kind of you. Montana's a nice place. I'm going to be up in your neck of the woods in August. I think it's in August. The war band's coming out there for 11 days. We're going to be riding the newly opened backcountry discovery route on our dirt bikes. We're going to ride 1,200 miles on dirt bikes backcountry from the southern border to the northern border. It's going to be an epic trip. When I was out there, I was out in Montana for Overton Shindig last year. I got to go dirt bike for a day up in there and discover some of the passes up the mountains. It was so beautiful. So that's why I chose. We could choose. I was thinking about maybe the Southwest and Idaho. They'll have backcountry discovery routes. And then when I saw Montana just opened up, we decided to do Montana. So Mr. Peter, Mr. Brian, myself, the whole war band's coming out, and we're going to be riding that, Lord willing. Yeah, talking about no spend month, Mrs. W has proposed this to me several times of just cost cutting measures and things that we're doing, eating out of our pantry, and yeah, I might consider that. I don't know what the Reaper is. Film at the trip? Yeah, I'll probably do daily videos. So Mrs. W will be driving a support vehicle. We'll be taking the van and we'll trailer the bikes out there. And then we'll, at the end of each stage, all the stages are pre-planned. I think there's 9 of them. She will be waiting for us, and then so we'll be set up there. So yeah, we'll have Starlink, and I'll shoot videos during the day of the ride, and then I'll be able to do a quick edit, and I'll upload daily. Yeah, so I'll probably be uploading them daily as they happen, just later in the day, unless we run into problems. Candid note, would you be all right with wood as your only heat source? No, you can't, because it'd be like having a dairy. You could never leave the house. If there's no one to keep the wood fire going, then your house is going to freeze up and your plumbing is going to freeze. So you have to have a backup of some sort, even if it's not super robust. Our log cabin, our last home, our last place, it was a log home. We heated with wood, but we also had um, backup electric and propane heat that could come on when we weren't there. So same way with the cabin. So the cabin is the primary heat source is the wood stove, but that's why I put the mini split in. I put a mini split in the back so that, well, one, so we've got air conditioning in the summertime for guests, and two, that during the day when no one's home to keep the wood stove going, that the pipes don't freeze. So you can't have, unless you maybe live in a place that doesn't get cold, but that's not here. Yeah, I think Yanmar currently builds the best farm tractor that you can get. I think they build the best diesel engine too. Yeah, it's gonna thrifty. It's gonna be a great ride. I bought the map, the backcountry discovery route. The guys that put those together done a really do a really good job with it. They go out and they explore and they build these routes, and then they put together really awesome maps. So I got a full fold out paper map. It's got all the routes each day. It even has some bypasses if you want to take on a little bit more challenging area. It's really nice. So I'll also with that comes all of the what do you call the GPS file, QV whatever it is. Uh, so I'll download those files for the whole route, and those will go into the trip computers on the bikes, on the trail techs. So we'll have we'll have the paper map, and we'll have it the whole route pre-planned in the computers as well. So it's really a good setup. Yeah, the BDRs are super cool. Yeah, I have two adventure vans. I'm getting ready. I've been saying this for years. To sell the Ford, we bought a Solus. That's our new adventure van. So I don't need both of them. A new dirt bike? Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that question. One, how much do you have to spend, and what do you need it to be dual sport or not? You know, what percentage is going to be on the road? What percentage is going to be off the road? So those are important questions. I couldn't answer it unless I knew that, and how much you have to spend on it. Yeah, Jack is coming as well. Yep. Oh, is that right? Their route. I haven't really stopped and looked at the map yet, Luke, but I didn't realize it got. Yeah, it does go through Helena, doesn't it? Yeah. So 2 miles away from you. Well, that will be. I think we have a stop in Helena, so it'd be good to see you. You know, I've never talked to Buck and Billy Ray. But he seems like a really nice guy. Um, I don't know. I haven't heard from. You know, I'm not going to go up to Canada. He probably doesn't want to come down here. So I don't know what's going to happen. Um, I don't know that I have a whole lot to offer. I'm professional homeowner grade, and he's professional grade. So I learn from him. I would be his student, um, but I would like to meet him. There's not a lot of guys I'd like to meet, but I he's a. I haven't met him, but you can tell that he's a good man, just a genuine good man. I think he really cares about people. How does the warband members get involved in the BDR ride, Montana? I haven't opened that up to the warband. This is something that uh, our warband is doing, and it's there are so many moving parts to it, and it's very challenging on bikes, challenging, and if I don't know you and I don't know your capabilities and I don't know that you have the stick to it and this, to do it, there's just so many variables. It's like going hunting with someone you've never went hunting with. You learn a lot about a person, and I know what I'm getting with my group of guys because we've done these before, and we trust each other. We're brothers. So um, the problem on that sorts of things is your problems. If you don't pack correctly, if your bike's not set up right, if you don't do maintenance on it, your problems become my problems. And now we have to deal with all of that. And the more people we add and the more complexity, the more potential for problems. So I'm not about to open this up to the group on something that's this big and this epic. This is a true big adventure that takes a lot of planning, a lot of conditioning, and knowing what you got. And this is not that ride. It would be different to have a weekend in Montana, ripping around doing some stuff, but not this one. I'm not going to rule it out completely. If I come across the guy that can prove to me that he's squared away and is at my ability or better, an understanding of these things, I wouldn't rule it out. But if you've never done this sort of thing before, you haven't put 200 miles on a dirt bike over rough ground, then it's not likely. I don't know much about echo chainsaws. I don't know. There are tiers to the warband. It's not necessarily that there are tiers. It's just that this is just not for everybody. I mean, this is very difficult. These are very difficult things to do. I'm not saying you can't do them, but if you're just a casual and you're not like really into it and adventure riding and understand all these things and how to do repairs on and pack and there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I'm not saying it's the world's hardest thing, but you take this. It's supposed to take this 11 days for most guys to do this. 11 days on a bike is a lot. What I'd recommend for a workbench in a two-car garage is you almost have to have something that's portable that you can move around. So what I would probably do is I built a table, a plywood, a big workbench that we have over in our shop out of 2x4s on end, laminated together with some pre-made metal legs. What I would do is I would do something like that, and I would have it on some casters. They make some casters that you can put on those that you step on them and they lift up, and you can move the table around, and you can step on them and they drop down, so it's a firm, stable base. And if you do a heavy laminate table with 2x4s, it has a lot of mass and it's got enough weight where you can put a vise on it, you can jerk on it, it's not going to move too much. But having a two-car garage, you're limited, you have to have options. So you need to be able to move it around a little bit. Because once you put a bench in a two-car garage, you almost don't have room for the second car. It starts becoming a problem. So it's nice to be able to have a bench that you can pull one car out or both cars, move the bench to the middle of the area if you want to have some walk around room, and you can even take it outside if you want to work outside. So that's what I would recommend. And the best size for a bench is 3 24 24 inches by 6 feet is minimum. That's a good size. 28 inches, if you go a little bit deeper, by 7 or 8 is even better. Goodness, no horses, no, no. You know, the minimum cost for a vet bill is $1,000. That's just to come out. So, I mean, do you have any idea what horses cost? No, I don't. I hate the infernal beasts, to be honest with you. I go round and around. My friend next door, they have a horse ranch. They're wealthy people. They're both surgeons, and they have these $1 million horses over there. These fancy, privileged white liberal women come over here to ride their horses and board them, and they got all that going on over there. The cost of those things, You have no idea. She gives me grief constantly. It's like, oh, you need to get rid of those motorcycles and get a horse. I'm like, oh no, you're feeding these horses all winter long. They're not producing anything. You can't ride in them. They come up lame. The vet's out there all the time. My dirt bike sits in there, consumes nothing. It doesn't bite me. Well, sometimes it does. Yes, Overson. They're not tiered. There are classes. There definitely are classes. Yeah, I mean, this is you gotta have your stuff locked down to do these BDR rides on a dirt bike, especially if you're out of state. There's a lot going on. You got to be in good physical condition too. Switches. It's a fair assessment to say you've been enjoying. Oh, I've always enjoyed it. I mean, just like anything, we go through seasons of our life. There are high times and low times. So, life ebbs and flows, and it's what I get. First, I put my life out in the public. I do pretty much daily content of one way or another, and I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not. And when you're sad, that's going to come through. When you're expansive and happy, that's going to come through. So it's just the seasons of life. It's just the way it goes. I missed a super chat. Thank you for that. Let me back up. Goodness, way back. Still going back. Good. I don't see it. Wow. Are you trolling? I am so far back. I don't see it. Sorry, guys. Maybe you could repost it. I don't see it. I missed a super chat. Yeah, that's a good point that Luke makes. For your bench, don't forget to measure the custom height, especially if you're taller. Yeah, that's exactly right. If you, Luke and I are both, well, we are both tall kings. I'm 6'4". I think Luke's maybe a little taller than I am, maybe 6'4", 6'5". The world is not built for us. We labor. Everything, like just to go to like a regulation like sink height. You go to a restaurant, like you got to bend down and like break your back just to wash your hands. And that's a really good point. I add 2 inches to all my benches. I don't know what standard height is. I forget, but I always do that. I add 2 inches to it. So consider that for sure. That's a good point. I missed one not that far back. Well, I'm gonna go back again. I mean, I was back to an hour ago. Let's see if I. There's no way to click on it to get them back. Let's see. I'm way back to where you guys are talking about the audio. I mean, I'm just scrolling hundreds and hundreds back. I went all the way back as far as I can. I don't see it. Not, I don't. I don't. It's not here. Yeah, yeah. Pajama. Yeah. Try using an 88 height sink as a tall guy. It's not fun. No, it's not fun. I mean, it's in all any restaurant commercial, you know, bathroom is going to be 88 height. Yeah. Yeah, it's classic. We spend accommodate. We build to accommodate the like 0.5% of the population, and the rest of the majority of us all have to suffer. You know, I have not checked that gauge. I actually saw it yesterday. I was in my toolbox looking for a knife, and I saw it in there, and thought how nice it looked, all polished and shiny. Luke says you have a button to sort chat, live chat, top chat, and fan funding. Oh, do I? I'm looking. Maybe on a computer, but not on my phone. Top fans. No, that's not it. I'll. Oh, Luke, you're right. Super chat. Got it. Mr. Overton, he knows all things. I found it. Sure enough, now I know how to do it. Thank you, Luke. Jacob T. Sorry about that. I did find it. Speaking of the old crosscuts, I've been wondering if the gauge I fixed for you still in spec. I don't know yet. I could, what I could do. I just recently bought a set of nice feeler gauges. I never had any good ones. I bought a set of Snap-on because I finally learned how to adjust the valves on the KTM 4-strokes. I got tired of paying guys to do it, and I always thought that they didn't do it right. So I learned to do it myself, and so I had to buy feeler gauges for that. So I should, yeah, I think I could stack feeler gauges enough to verify that that's right, because the Snap-on ones are going to be right. I see. I already forgot how to do that. Let's see. I clicked this one here. There we go. Top chat, live chat. Got it. That's helpful, Luke. Thank you for that. But activating that turned off the rest of you guys. All right, you're back. Thank you, Jacob, for that. I haven't hunted for years. No, no, I haven't. Yeah, I would. I stay in contact with TJ from Bear Independent, and we're always talking, looking for an opportunity to get together again. So I would say that's highly likely. There hasn't been an opportunity this year, but when we had that big ice storm, which is really kind of them, I don't think I mentioned this. We had that big ice storm or the flooding. Grindstone, several of their people reached out to me, including TJ, and asked if we needed them to come out. And I said, "Oh no, we're okay." But that was a very kind offer. So there's always that opportunity. It's they're in Oklahoma, and they seem to work a lot to the east, which is pretty far away from me. It's hard. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't feel super helpful just to show up with a suitcase to get on the airplane, air travel, and I don't care to air travel all that much. I would be far more inclined to drive. If I could drive, then I can bring my own equipment, which I'd be more keen to do. And there hasn't been an opportunity. So I would say that if anything happened, Montana or west, we would load up. Mr. Brian, Mr. Peter, and I would all load up and come out. So there just hasn't been an opportunity for that yet. But I would look for that very much so. It'd be good to see the guys again. Logjammin says, loving the windfall videos. Yes. Um, any chance to going up in the fresh snow and looking? There is actually. I was thinking what we could do is we got enough snow. We might get enough snow if it snows tonight and it doesn't warm up too much. I'll keep an eye on the weather. But if we can get up to 4,000 feet, I could throw. What I'd like to do is to throw the snow bike up, put it back in my truck, drive up to as far as I can in the snow, jump on the snow bike, and then ride up north. We could ride up, get up to 9,000 feet and get up where no one's been at all this year, and find out if there is any good trees there and pin those and keep an eye on them. And when the snow starts to melt out, we could be the first ones up there to grab it. Yeah, that would be a fun thing to do, wouldn't it? I need to figure out how to mount my Starlink on my helmet, and we could live stream it. It's a little spooky going up there by myself on a snow bike without a partner. But if I stayed on the logging roads that are just snowed in, I'd be willing to do it. Because at worst case scenario, I could walk out. Hardwood trees, not a lot. No, mostly conifers. We're too high for oak, and we have a little bit of maple. Mr. Bryan, Mr. Bryan is an East Coast man, unfortunately. And he is like a moth to a flame. When we cut firewood together. And he can spot that from like a quarter mile away, and he jumps on. He's like, we'll be just going along, and he'll say, "Oh, just let me out here." And he'd jump off, and I see him go up there because he spotted a hardwood, a maple. But actually, you know what? You guys don't know what you don't know, and what Buck and Billy Ray and I have labored to tell you is that Douglas fir has almost identical BTUs to oak. Douglas fir is an excellent firewood, among the very best. You don't know this, but that's the truth. We know this. Not only that, the Douglas fir tree is the best tree that God has ever created as far as the all-around best. It's the best lumber in the world. It's among the best firewood in the world. It's the most beautiful wood. It's incredible. Incredible. So you East Coast man and your filthy hardwood has nothing on us. We have excellent firewood here. And these guys all think we burn pine. We don't burn pine. Pine is not Douglas fir, and actually the Douglas fir tree is not a true fir, if we're going to get technical. But we don't I'm not trying to cast my pearls before swine here. Yeah, I would do a stream with Owen. Looking for a bike, any price, dual sport? Well, if price is no object, then I would go buy a Beta. I'd go buy a brand new Beta if it were me. And if I didn't buy a Beta, I'd get a Beta, get a 500 or the 480 or whatever. They have kind of different sizes. But what I've been hearing about Beta and what I've seen, we have a local dealer. I'm thinking my next bike will be a Beta. And they offer street legal options. You want to have a good experience, go to the Beta website, and they have an excellent website. They're Italian, and they still hand build every bike. Beta right now is what KTM was 20 years ago. The personal touch, still hand building their motorcycles, bespoke one at a time per your order. You want to have a fun time, go to the Beta website, pick the bike and go through the bike builder process. You can pick every single part. You can have it spec'd out exactly how you want, street legal. They are super nice. I'm coming into a little bit of money from my inheritance from my parents, and I've been thinking about getting another motorcycle, and I'm seriously considering buying the new Beta. They have a big bore two-stroke, the 350. The 350 Beta. That may be my new bike. That might replace my Husky. Not replace it, but be a brother to it, a big brother to it. A form of cypress? I had not heard that. I don't know about that. We call it a fir. It's not actually a fir. Yeah, well, Montana, I don't know. When I was in Montana, his forests are a bit lacking. They seem a bit scraggly and scrubby. Um, Montana's getting closer. It's more arid there. It's getting more closer to kind of the Midwest, and you don't have you just don't have the climate, because we live in a rainforest. I mean, what a rainforest? You were told that a rainforest was a jungle. A rainforest is not a jungle. A jungle is a jungle. A rainforest is what we have in the Pacific Northwest. A rainforest is where the giant sequoias grow, the coastal firs grow, the hemlocks. We live in the rainforest, a lot of rain for these big trees. And Montana does not have very good forests, not compared to what we have. Douglas fir to hemlock. Hemlock is close to fir. Actually, when you buy lumber framing material locally, they actually call it hem fir, hem slash fir, because they're so interchangeable for framing material. So you can get a mix. It doesn't have the redness. It's just not quite as good. It doesn't smell as good, but it's fine. Silver fir, I'm not familiar with silver fir. Douglas fir is the granddaddy, though. That's the grand national champion. I have not seen a Bigfoot. I've heard strange things, but I can't tell what they are. Finland? I know very little about Finland. I can't really speak to Finland. I'd like to see Finland. I wouldn't mind. I like those Nordic countries. I like Nordic people. Been to Sweden several times. Austria and Germany, but that's as close as I've been to Finland. I don't have anything bad to say about Finland. I would imagine that they eat a lot of fish, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't know that the Nordic people are known for their culinary, well, their culinary tastes. Let's call it that. You eat fermented fish. I don't want any surstrumming. Were you out of Bitcoin? I've always thought Bitcoin was a scam, and I have stayed away from it. I want nothing to do with it. And I saw this morning, what's it trading at 64? People are about to jump off of buildings. I think it's a scam. What's not a scam is local real estate and precious metal. My family and I have seen a Bigfoot, I think. Yeah, hard to quantify that. That's the problem with miracles. That's the problem with miracles. I don't deny that you saw it. I've seen things that can't be understood either. But I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't know of anyone that's seen one. We spend a lot of time in the woods. If there were a Bigfoot in this area, Mr. Peter would have seen it because he sees everything. He is constantly walking in the woods. His hobby, oh goodness, he sends some pictures that makes my blood run cold. His hobby is to go play cat and mouse games with mountain lions. You know, mountain lions will stalk you. They like to circle around and find a place to ambush you. And Mr. Peter creeps through the woods with his rifles, and he never shoots at them, and takes pictures like close, like within 40, 50 feet of them, like in an ambush spot. He goes up there by himself and plays around with those things. So I'm telling you, if there were a Bigfoot up there, Mr. Peter would have come across it, I think. Created by Epstein? Well, it's what some people say. Hello from Maui, sunny Maui. I'd shoot. If I saw a Bigfoot, I've already resolved this in my mind. I will blast his ass immediately on sight. And if I find out it's a man in a gorilla suit, then I'll dig a big hole, and I won't tell any of you about what happened. That'd be my bad. Bears could look like one? No. I've seen and shot too many bears. They look nothing like unless you were just some normie from the city. There's no way you could ever disguise a bear with a Bigfoot. That's impossible. No, bear, they stink too. You know, I've had some pretty spooky moments. We'd be up in the huckleberry fields picking huckleberries. Well, that draws the bears. They like huckleberries too. and you'd be in those huckleberry fields, and you smell them like, oh, a bear is here or was just here, because they are stinky. The Eastern Orthodox Church, I think that they are Catholic light. That's what I think. Yeah, I will blast a Bigfoot, 100%. I will shoot his ass full of dance wax, as my granddad used to say. We would go hunting, and said we'd be. My granddad loved hunting. He lived for it. Poor guy worked as a mechanic his whole life. Got 4 weeks of vacation a year. 2 weeks he spent with taking my nana to Canada, and the other 2 weeks we went elk hunting. We'd be driving over there. He'd be talking about, boy, we're gonna get him, son. We're gonna get him this year. We're gonna shoot him some dance wax. And I'd say, yep, granddad, we're gonna shoot him some dance wax. I never knew what that meant. I finally got older. I'd been saying it for years, and I asked him, why? What does that mean? We're going to shoot dance wax? Well, dance wax, I grew up in a church where we had, the kids had weekly dances. We would dance with the girls, the band and all that. Dance wax is like a granular powder, used to come in a steel can that you would spread out on the floor so that your feet can slide. It's called dance wax. Granddad kept his ammunition in an empty dance wax can. So, which I still have. I think. I think I do have it. If I find that, I'll show it to you one of these days. But that I'm like, oh, that's why. Oh, we're going to shoot up some dance wax at him. I understand now. Yeah, if it's a man in a gorilla suit, it's not my fault he's up there. I wouldn't lose 2 weeks of sleep over it. It's not my fault he's up there playing the fool. I mean, you play stupid games, you get stupid rewards. And if you get capped because you're up there playing the fool in a gorilla suit in the mountains, then, well, that's on you, man. That's on you. I've already resolved to shoot Bigfoot, and if it's realistic, it's not my fault. Yeah, Orthodox Church. I mean, they're just like an adopted Catholic. Trigonosis, yeah, so does pork, but you eat that. Yeah, a bear is very much related to pork. Like when you butcher a bear, uh, it is so greasy, especially when you shoot one in the fall. They've got a lot of fat on them because they're getting ready to hibernate. And that when you butcher one, they're so greasy you can barely hang on to your knife. It's so they're like pork. They're gross. It's not. You should not be eating bear or pork or anything like that. I'll tell you another thing that's creepy about a bear is when you skin a bear and hang it up on a meat pole, it looks just like a man. Like I remember, I'll never forget it. Like I can picture it in my mind. In one of our elk hunting camps, one of the guys shot one right off the road, and they loaded it up in the back. It wasn't that big. Loaded it up in the back of the truck, brought it back, skinned it, and hung it up on the meat pole. And they were going to do a bear rug on it, so they skinned it all, like caped it, and did the paws and everything. So what was hanging on the meat pole looked like a skinned man. And I thought that's what it was when I saw it. It just made my blood run cold. But it's creepy. If you've never seen one, they look skinned out. They look just like a human. It's really something. Very really something. Send the man in the costume to taxidermy. Yeah, well, you'd be better off to not send him anywhere. Just go dig that hole and dig it deep. And don't tell your wife. Don't tell anyone. Take that to your grave. That's on him, man. If he's up there playing the fool, I tell you, that's not your fault. Oh, what knife I've been carrying? I've actually been carrying. I rotate around. I've been carrying the Primitive Woodsman bushcraft knife, which is this is probably one of the finest knives I've ever used for just general purpose. This is a work of art right here. This is an absolute work of art. This is a standard sheath knife. It's a beautiful, beautiful knife. I've really been enjoying carrying this one. Something about silent lambs. Yeah, did they? Yeah, well, that's good advice. Yeah, bacon's not hard to give up. I grew up in a pork family. We had bacon every meal, pork chops twice a week. My dad loved it. No, when you dig into it, you find out how unhealthy it is. That what's in it. Oh, it's disgusting. Like I gave up I gave up pork 22 years ago, and the thought of even pork right now just almost makes me want to vomit. It's disgusting. Yeah, it is a nice knife. Yeah, it is. This is the big brother to the Foxfire. Yeah, this is a true full-size bushcraft knife. It is a work of art. Um, no, I could go on for hours on it. The shape of the handle to get this shape right here is the art, and this one is perfection. It's actually, it's a little bit. I've got a lot of bushcraft knives, and I've worked with a lot of them. And this one's it's like a 90% or it's like 90% smaller. It's like scaled down like 10% from all my other ones, and it's perfect. And look at that wood. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Scandi grind, really nice point on it. Good for slivers, and a beautiful leather sheath. Beautiful leather work. Everything about it is just near perfection. It's the best bushcraft knife that I own. Chicken's not the best meat. Maybe if you're a poor. No, chicken is bland and tasteless and requires seasoning. Anyone that says that chicken is the best meat knows nothing about the best meat. I can't even comprehend that statement. No. I'm the meat aficionado, trust me. The best meat is beef, but there are many levels of beef. I eat the best beef that you can get. And the best beef you can get, the highest quality and the greatest cut. The greatest cut, the best tasting beef in the entire world is the ribeye. Nothing compares to the ribeye, from the greasiness to the texture to the taste to the fat content. There's nothing that touches a ribeye. But I'm not talking like your Albertsons ribeye, your garbage ribeye. I'm talking about a steak done properly. Chicken. Good grief. You must be joking. I like chicken, but it's not to be considered with an aged grass-fed organic ribeye. I mean, you can't. They're not. They're not. We're not even on the same. We're not even in the same conversation. Goat? Oh, God forbid. Do I look like a filthy Arab? No, we're not eating any goat. No, we're not eating mutton either. Uh, the rural world says, have you ever had any issues with the high flow on your compact track loader? Just curious. I remember when you had the. No, I mean not a lick. I haven't had any problem with it. I mean, that really woke up that snowblower. The snowblower was not functional, or was not operational until I put the high flow kit on it, and that changed everything. And it's a really it's a dealer installed option, but it was very affordable. I don't remember what it cost, but it didn't cost very much. Turkey? No, no, goodness, nobody wants turkey. Let me ask you this: if turkey's so damn good, then why are you eating it once a year? Man, I told the guys, I have sworn off. I have put a referendum on that dry ass bird. I don't want any turkey. We don't do turkey anymore. No more turkey. Disgusting. Nobody's trying to have a turkey. We have beef for Thanksgiving. I'm not. I'm breaking the generational curse of that bad, all those bad boomer customs. Turkey. Nobody's trying to eat turkey. Turkey's gross. Yeah, no, turkey is gross. That dry ass turkey. Oh, I, Mrs. W, we both like no more turkey. And then you saw what that black guy was doing at the Butterball factory, right? That he was having conjugal rights with your turkey, and then packaging and then selling them to you. Enjoy your goy slop, goy. No turkeys. Oh, nor fish, especially a walleye. I'm not there. There's only two fish in this world that are worth eating. Number two is the halibut, and number one is the codfish. Outside of that, I don't want it. And you guys think you're doing something. You think you're fancy because your wife told you that she made you some tilapia. You know, tilapia is a trash fish. They didn't know what to do with it. It grows fast. It's a money grab, and then they roll it out to you. I remember when my mom bought boomers got taken in by all these scams. Tilapia, what was the other one? Margarine, vegetable oils, um, oh, so many of them. Kale. They come to you like, oh, this is the new thing. Kale is good. Oh, okay, it's good. Kale is not good. They didn't know what to do with it, so they serve it to you. They marketed it to these boomer women, and now they're feet. I mean, you know instinctively that's not good. Let me tell you this, gentlemen. Ask you this: if you put something in your mouth as a child that makes you scrunch up your face and spit it out because it is an offense to you, like the bitter root vegetables and such, also, side note, vegetables were introduced to man's diet after sin. And your parents telling you, your boomer parents to you, clean up your plate, eat that nasty thing, and it's bitter and disgusting, and you have to put all manner of oil or cheese or butter on it just to get it down the gullet. Maybe that's nature telling you that that's not fit for food. Just perhaps. I'm of the opinion and the belief, and I believe this 100%, that those things are toxic because it is a protective measure of the plant warning people not to eat them. Eat your veggies. I don't eat my veggies. I don't listen to the food pyramid and what my boomer mom said. I listen to my body. If it's making me gag, if it's bitter and making me scrunch up my face, that's God telling me that that's not fit for food. I don't care what the FDA says. It's time to think for yourselves, gentlemen. Lobster. Lobster is not fit for food. It's unclean. Lobster used to be fed to convicts, and it was considered, they almost revolted that it was cruel and unusual punishment. And then it's marketed to you as a delicacy, something that's fine, and you go pay out the nose for this trash. Chicken. Venison is Venison's horrible. Elk meat is excellent. Elk meat is very good, but almost too lean. There's no fat in elk meat. I like what makes meat really good and what separates the excellent from the ordinary is the right fat content. And that's why a properly cut and raised ribeye is the finest, one of the finest things you can eat. Don't get me started on walleye. I already told you that there are only two fish. Some people will say salmon, but I would disagree. I don't care for salmon. I know about the butterball. Yeah, I don't eat turkey. Boomers in diet soda, boomers in artificial sweetening, boomers in coffee mate, boomers in Keurigs, boomers in making coffee and food where you heat up plastic in a microwave that they warn if you're pregnant, don't stand in front of this thing and then serve it to their kids. You know, microwave popcorn is one of the most toxic things you can eat, and you eat it all the time. You're cooking food in Teflon pans. You're cooking food, reheating it in plastic and superheating it in a microwave, and you're eating that. Gentlemen. And you wonder why you're sick and your kids are autistic. You know what they're finding out now? That there may be a direct link. Ultrasounds, there may be a link between ultrasounds and autism. The boomers didn't do us any favors, did they? You don't even think about it. Of course, you run out, get the ultrasound, poison your child, give your kid autism. I thought the Hippocratic Oath was to do no harm. It seems that just the opposite takes place in these hospitals. I would avoid hospitals at all costs. Bison's okay. Bison is best if you're gonna bison's. I prefer a bison that's a 50-50 mix with beef. Personally, it's awfully lean. No, no lamb. I'm not a filthy Arab. We don't eat lamb. West Coast man eats beef. That I'm not gonna hate on lamb. It's just not for me. It's not. It's I don't want it. But I'm not gonna put it in the category with pork or lobsters. Halibut is fine, but halibut is second to cod. Halibut is always kind of put above cod, but cod is better. If you stop listening to what you're told and trust your experience, cod is firmer and has a sweeter, more complex and interesting taste. I don't hate a halibut. Like when I go to the coast, I only eat seafood if it's within smelling range of the sea. I'm not trying to go to Oklahoma and eat and order seafood. That's not going to happen. Only seafood that's caught fresh. That's the only fish that I'm eating. They'll tell you that a halibut is better, but it is not. It doesn't have the firm texture and it doesn't have the complex of sweet taste. A codfish is the best fish. We don't know. Well, a lot of people in the cities do eat soy. I don't eat soy. Ramen noodles and hot dogs, you got to do what you got to do. There's a time and a place. I mean, yeah, it must be nice to be able to eat nice hand cut organic ribeyes. But my diet's very limited. I only eat whole foods, and my diet's very simple because I don't want to be fat. So the way I look at it is I eat such a small, I have such a small variety in my diet that what I am eating is going to be good quality. I eat 2 meals a day. I cook my own meals. It's going to be the best that I can find. Yeah, a British fish and chips, a British codfish fish and chips is among the finest things in the whole world. That's the only thing, though. Their food is terrible. If it smells like fish, I'm not touching it. Agreed. Yeah. That should also go for the girls you date. Pizza. I do like pizza, but I don't eat it because I don't want to have a big distended wheat belly. I don't need all that low quality. And most pizza is low quality. Very few people actually eat good pizza. Like I'm just appalled. We'll go to the Midwest, the food like in the Midwest, and I mean you get away from the cities, and what they serve to you guys and what you guys accept. It's just if you're used to good food, if you live in an area where food is really important to people, it's a way of life. Like the Pacific Northwest, especially if you come out of Portland, the East Coast, New York, people are really particular about food. Like our restaurants out here, the good ones, source locally. You can see and know, you can ask your server, they'll tell you where the beef was raised, where the potatoes came from. I mean that's the level of quality that people demand here. So you get used to that. So it's hard to travel and you go to a subscriber meetup somewhere or go do something in the Midwest and you're like, "Oh, our pizza's amazing." And you sit down and you're like, this is unedible. It's disgusting. Low quality ingredients, sauce from a can, terrible bread, full of GMO. So it depends. Um, I like a good pizza, but a good pizza is very, very hard to come by. And that's peasant food as well. If you go back, the reason the pizza was developed was it was a way to, if you were super poor in the old country, it was a way for you to mimic that you were having or serving meat. The tomato sauce was to be kind of a poor man's replacement for red meat or the blood of meat. So it was made from things that you had. You probably had some bread. You could grow some tomatoes. You had some livestock. You could make some soft cheese. And so it was a way. It was kind of a deceptively way to feed the family in poverty and to forget the fact that you didn't have access to what you should be eating, which is high quality red meat protein. So let's put it in its context. Not to say it's not delicious if done right. Calamari is unfit for human consumption and unclean. No, you should not be eating that. You're gonna eat a shit rubber? People eating crab. Can you imagine that? Crabs and lobsters. Unclean. Unclean. Fermented foods, sauerkrauts, kimchi, sourdough breads, if sprouted and fermented properly, are very, very helpful, healthy food to eat. Very good for your gut bacteria. I personally don't care for them. A kombucha, if you don't like the sauerkraut, if you don't like that strong fermented experience, one way to kind of get those benefits is a homemade kombucha, which you can make yourself, which gives you that, which is nice. But yeah, fermented foods, especially sourdough breads, are very, very good for your gut bacteria and very, very healthy. Kimchi, yeah, I don't particularly like it. Mrs. W in the Sweet Loaf, they eat it almost every meal. Yeah, dairy is not, especially your soft cheeses. One of the worst things that you can eat that your body really struggles with are soft cheeses, American cheeses. If you're gonna eat cheeses, and I love cheese, it's one of my weaknesses, but I want a good cheese. You're better off with your hard cheese. Really high quality. Grate a little bit of hard Parmesan. If you're going to eat cheese, which is not ideal, that's a whole lot better than you like your fondue cheeses and stuff. This is not good for you. I don't fall under any denomination. I believe in Christ and Christ crucified. Louisiana, geographically and culturally, um, not too much. I don't like it. The climate is among the worst. The only thing worse than Louisiana is South Florida. Uh, no, it's gross down there. I don't like the culture. I don't like the southern culture. I don't like the food. I don't like the bugs, the chiggers, the heat. The I just don't. It is that would be hell for me to live in that area in the swamps, and it just driving through there makes me sad. Um, the crisp, clean air, the clean water, the snow, the Douglas fir forest. This is where I grew up. This is my home. These are the forests that I grew up in, and I would never want to live anywhere else. I do not care for that climate, that area at all. That is among the armpit of the entire country. That area, in all honesty. Real honey is very good. A lot of health benefits in the honey. And if you're eating honey, the best benefits for you is to buy your honey locally. Honey is a very powerful food. There's a lot into it. And especially if you suffer from allergens and such, if you're buying honey, if you live on the West Coast and you're buying honey on the East Coast, what the bee is collecting and gathering are plants and flowers and things that are not natural to you. And all of that goes in and is very concentrated. So, it can be difficult for your body to assimilate and to deal with. Not everyone, everyone has a different constitution. Your safest bet for honey, and honey is a very good substitute for sugar, is to make sure you buy it locally. That the bees are ranging on the plants and fauna and flora of your people, and it's going to be more palatable, and your body's going to accept it better. So not always, just as a rule of thumb, if you can. Australia, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I'd have a very different opinion on them. But I don't think too highly of Australia, to be honest with you. The accent, I find it exceedingly grating. Um, and your politics, again, this is just someone judging from the outside, and I guess the people that are always you're always bitching about the United States. You're always complaining. You're like Canada with crocodiles in that way, and your leftist politics and the way your people cucked and gave up your guns, and the way your government treated uh, how tyrannical they were during the lockdowns was a shameful and a crime against humanity. And I don't know, man. It just seems like Canada. It's just not what it was 20 years ago. So I not too much, to be honest with you. Not to mention, I get so much hate from Australians over the years. They tried to call and to ruin my partnership with Lucas Mill, and it just I have had a lot of negative. That being said, when I meet an Australian, I love them. So I guess I have to maybe separate the government and the media and the politics that is put in front of me from the actual people. But the climate, goodness, they're tough. Australians are tough. I'll give them that. We have a super chat from Nicholas. Nicholas says 4-H raised lamb chops, some of the best meat I've ever had. Store bought lamb is not so good. Also the most mentioned meat in the Bible. Yes. Well, I've heard that. It's what it is. It's so alien to me. I didn't grow up with it that I have trouble with it. And I've had once you smell like bad mutton, you've tasted bad mutton or bad mutton being cooked. It just will put you off your roll for the rest of your life, and it's hard to get back on board. Old school Aussies. I had a roommate for a while that was Aussie. They're the best guys, and they're super brave and super tough. They'll take on anything. They're absolutely insane. But of late, I'd have to say that I don't feel the same way. And the accent is exceedingly grating on me. It really is grating. Yeah, bread, fish, fruit, vegetables um, were the Lord's diet. Well, he also was in a Mediterranean, more Mediterranean type environment. So I mean, it's very, very different. It's that I wouldn't say that that's a standard. No, there's quite, no, there's been some. Australia produces some cool things. Steve Irvin, yeah, he seemed to be a good dude. I like Steve. He was the last good Australian. Yeah, well, Overton's government is what the people are willing to tolerate. Well, I mean, that speaks worse of us than it does for them. I mean, or just as bad. I mean, we got no place to. We'd be living in a glass house, Luke, for sure. Well, of course, Ben. I'm going to give Ben West official West Coast status. So Ben, he is like a day walker. He flies above my negative view of the Australians that have been actually quite mean to me. People are nice, the politicians are bad. Yes, that I'll settle on that. I'll agree with that. Yeah, Core. I mean, I of course I'm concerned with it, but what can I do about it? I mean, what more? What can I do? What can I do that I haven't already done? I mean, I don't have any power. I have limited access to a few people on these platforms, and I have been uncompromising for the most part, and speak my mind how I feel about things, and try to share what stewardship of the land is like, try to share what being a good father is like, trying to share what being a mentor and doing things that the best you can, and quality and craftsmanship, and leaving respecting the land. I mean, what more can I do than that? Try to be a good example. I mean, I mean, outside of that, I don't know what else I can do. I'm concerned about it, but what can I do about it? I try to influence, be a positive influence, and share I guess the foundational core issues that the good people that created this land had, that are rare these days. I do my streams. No, I don't do. I can do streams on Starlink. I'm just using AT&T right now. But we brought a T1 line, or a fiber dedicated fiber line into the shop now, so I stream on fiber, which is really nice. Thoughts on AI causing mass unemployment? Yeah, let's. I mean, yeah, I mean that's happening. Especially, we really are seeing it out here. We have a lot of tech in Seattle. Um, as you know, Microsoft's out here, and Amazon and such, and massive, massive layoffs that are affecting these management tech jobs, white collar white collar jobs, um, terribly. And these people are in a bad spot because they are, as I call, they're not multifaceted. A lot of these jobs are six figure, 150, 200, $300,000 jobs. And you have when you're up in Seattle and you're working for Microsoft, you have a standard of living, and you have a particular house and car, and you're raising your family, you got kids in school, and to have that rug pulled out from underneath you is a devastating blow that is almost impossible. It's going to be impossible for them to recover from. And what puts these guys in a bad spot is, if outside of whatever it is that they do, these white collar jobs, they don't really have a lot of skills outside of that. Whereas you take a guy that's blue collar, that grew up in the trades and knows how to do a few things, you lose your framing job, you go drive a truck. You lose that job driving a truck, well, you go do concrete. There are a lot more options for guys like that. So it's really hitting these families up here pretty hard. And these jobs are not coming back. So Yeah, I mean, the fallout from all of this remains to be seen. It's just now the catastrophe is happening, and the fallout we'll see, over the next 36, 48 months. People are not going to be able to afford here. People are going to have to move. There's going to be a mass migration to parts of the country that are affordable, and that's primarily going to be the Midwest, the interior of the U.S. You're going to see a lot of people moving back to their hometowns. So, I mean, I don't. You asked me what I think about it. I don't really know. I mean, the the practical trades are somewhat still insulated from this and will be for several years to come, but even they will not be safe. What will happen is a thing, say, you have to look at kind of the car industry. My grandfather was a mechanic back in the time where they were really mechanics. A real mechanic to me is someone that can fix, diagnose, and make parts. My granddad used to make parts and like weld up, like the alternator bracket was broken, take it off and repair it, braze it, weld it, do repairs on things, fix things. Now, guys that work in the auto industry, they plug the computer and they just are changing parts assemblies. It's moved to that. It's hard sometimes because you'll have maybe an air compressor, AC compressor, and the clutch goes out on it. It's something that would be $14, $15 part. You could take that apart and it would still be a viable part. No, just throw it away and just bolt on a new assembly, because repairing this, diagnosing it, taking it apart, figuring out what it is, there's a diode, there's whatever small piece in there, is that takes skill. That takes a guy that's got a lot of years and experience to be able to do that. And a guy with skill and experience, you have to pay him a lot of money. Whereas if you can just take off the broken one and put the one that's not broken on, anyone can do that. You can bring the 18-year-old that's fresh out of trade school that's getting half the money of the mechanic with experience. And so the trend is to get away from that. We want to be able to just to take any Tom, Dick, or Harry, plug him into the system, and he can get by, do what needs to be done. So we need to take all the thinking out of it and just basically have automatons, robots that just do what they're told. Plug in the computer, the light comes on, and we change this. And they're not true mechanics, by and large, not all. That's the trend. So that business model of stripping out the need for craftsmen, men with experience, is what everything will be moving to. Like right now, we have a complex furnace. We have one guy within a 100-mile radius that understands it, and we request him. We have him come out and then service it twice a year. Before we found him, we had 5 different guys that came out that couldn't diagnose what was wrong with it. He only could do it because he had years of experience and he was really knowledgeable. So that model, they're going to get away from it. We're going to get to the point where whatever it is, whether it's an air conditioning unit, it's a furnace, it's a power transformer, whatever, that everything will be standardized. It will be manufactured in a modular way, in a way that it can just be unplugged and plugged back in, and everything is going to be common across the board. And then the natural progression of that is, well, if an 18-year-old who doesn't know anything can come out and unplug this and bolt another one in and make it work again, then that can be easily automated. So, I mean, that really is going to be kind of be the trend. So how do you insulate yourself? How do you put yourself in a position? How do you choose, if you're 18 right now, what field do I get into? What type of work can I get into that is going to be of need in 20 years? That really is the hard question. It's not going to be in writing code. It's not going to be in reading audiobooks. Just like the buggy whip, the guys that were making buggy whips, they made great buggy whips until the Model T came along, and they went along for a while, but eventually no one had need of a buggy whip anymore. And no matter how much experience they had or what their talent was, it was not something that was needed anymore. It was no longer a job. So I don't know, what the future brings. I don't know how you insulate yourself. And there's always going to be a need for men that are going to need to climb power poles, fix plumbing pipes, and that sort of things. But even framing and carpentry, that's going to get to the point where homes will be 3D printed. They're already moving into a lot of construction now is modular. It's built in a warehouse that will be continue to be automated. It's brought out, put in place on scene, on site, and that may be better. I'm not saying it's better or worse, but that's the way it's going to move, because the biggest expense for companies is the labor force, and that's what they want to get away from. They want to get away from all the problems and the dramas and the calling in sick and the unreliability and the unionizing. If you can replace that with a machine that works 24/7 and doesn't talk back to you, you'd want that too. Think of the aggravation you get rid of. So I understand the incentive. So where does that leave you? How do you deal in this? Also, I guess I have to look at human nature, and you have to ask yourself, what makes something of value? And it's simple. What makes something of value is its rarity. Things that are common have no value. Things that are rare and uncommon have great value. That's human nature. So how can you be uncommon in a sea of people looking for jobs or careers? That's what you have to ask yourself. In my own particular field, I mean, I could be wrong, but what it seems to me is there's a lot of novelty and a lot of excitement about AI being able to take on the heavy burden of creating content, helping with content, making it. We're getting to the point where we're already at the point now where there will not be a need any longer to build models and sets and have voice actors. It will all be actors can now sell their likeness to a studio, and that studio can forever, for the end of time, and the actor will never age, never show up on set drunk, can use his image, likeness, voice, and everything, and create these movies, TV programs using AI without all that aggravation. But what makes a great movie a classic? What makes it great was the talent of the producer, the talent of the recording artist, the talent of the actor. He had something special, something that was different, something unique. That's what gives it a value. That's what makes these memorable movies. So when we have an AI system that's so robust that anyone through just can pour your imagination out and create a Hollywood level production, when anyone can do it and everyone can do it, then it will be common, no matter how good it is. The special effects, the storytelling, it might be amazing what AI can produce, but it will become common. Anything that's common no longer has value. And there will always be people wanting that human touch, that real story. I can see it already. I have AI fatigue. When I first started seeing AI content, and you see the Bigfoot talking, and it's like, oh, that's funny, that's clever. You see the cat doing this, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny, and you share it for a couple times. But anymore, now that I quit sharing AI videos because I'm no longer interested in them. Like, it doesn't have any value to me. I know it's not real. There's something about it. It doesn't have any value, no matter how good it is. The lighting's good, the sound's good, the audio's perfect, the facial expressions, the water, it's perfect, but it's all just trash because I know it's not real. So when that becomes the when most of the AI content that you consume and the movies and television you see is all AI generated, there's going to be fatigue, and there's going to be a desire to go back to the things that are real, something that has real humanity, real people with real storytelling. That's why TikTok videos and TikTok creators are the new celebrities. That's why they're getting the eyeballs, because no one wants to watch an actor in Hollywood pretending to be something they know to be fake, when you can go on TikTok or you can go on IG or you can go on YouTube and watch someone pouring their heart out on a real topic, having a real experience that you can relate to, that's genuine. out in the cold, making mistakes, cutting a chip in your favorite axe with your chainsaw because you were stupid. That's relatable. That's what life is about. That's what really happens. And that's why we connect with it, because that's our experience when we go out there. AI can never replicate that. They could only take that from my experience or someone else's experience, and it would be a facsimile, but it wouldn't be genuine. It wouldn't have value. So this is what it seems to me anyway. It seems to me in this particular space, there's always going to be, and there always has been, a place for storytellers. But as for you and what particular field you're working in, I don't know, but you need to kind of look at it that way. What is going to be rare, and how do I put myself in that position to capitalize on it? Does that make sense? I started, as someone who grew up with movies and loved movies. I started becoming wary. I really checked out of movies. One, when the storytelling became very woke and they started putting politics into it, but just the digital special effects, like these Transformer movies, uh, John Wick and such, like the overstimulation and just the fakeness, and it was silliness to me. It's silliness to me. It makes me tired. Like after 30 seconds of it, I'm like, in fight scenes that go on for 5 minutes, I mean, I have no interest. It's trash. It's of no value. I couldn't possibly watch it. I don't understand how people could watch that. Yeah, but healthcare is a miserable. I wouldn't wish my worst enemy into that profession. I mean, it's known there's one profession that women are involved in. This is known to be the greatest red flag of all. You should never have anything to do with a female nurse, relationship wise. Never, never, never. No one is more promiscuous than a nurse. You want your daughter in that? You want to be in an environment full of sick people? Healthcare is a trash vocation to be in. Yeah, Jackie says that this is a bubble and it will pop. Yeah, this will happen. Yeah, it's already happening. Um, there's quite a few companies that jumped on a little bit too early and decimated their workforce and thought that they could just usher them out and usher AI in, that they would be able to do the same things. I heard a story just last week of a company that was going broke. That was, I don't remember what it even was, but it heavily relied upon statistics and analysis for projecting future growth and important decisions. And the vice president had got rid of all of his analysts and just completely relied upon AI to feed them your information from the previous year, which they made all of their important decisions on, only to find out after they had committed the resources that the AI had just manufactured them. And anyone that's used AI a lot, you'll find out, especially if you're using like a chat GPT, it is designed to tell you what you want to hear. It makes stuff up and is completely unreliable. And so a lot of companies are having that experience right there. But it's also only going to get better. But here's the thing: is what we're getting. I mean, we talk and talk and talk about all these things. How much time do we waste? How much time do I waste talking about these things, speculating, trying to project, and what's the point? What's the point of what's the point of all of this? I'm weary of talking about it. I'm weary of stewing and thinking about it. I would rather go split firewood. I would rather go change the flat tire in my shop that's on the stand right now. I would rather go hook the sled on the back of my quad and pull my 8-year-old daughter around. When is enough enough? Because this whole conversation, all the politics, all of this is a hamster wheel, gentlemen. What are we solving here? It's all true, but how is it helping us? The difference between a Ford van and a Dodge van. The badging. Some of us older people come from a time when there was a difference. The Dodge is front wheel drive. Yes. The Ford has a 4-wheel drive option. Or not, it's not a true 4-wheel drive, it's an all-wheel drive. Unless you have a conversion like mine, which is with a transfer case and lockers, which is a legitimate 4-wheel drive. But yes, off the factory floor. A Dodge is a front wheel drive. ProMaster. The Ford is all-wheel drive. We have a super chat from Much Wisdom, Much Grief. My goodness. Could there be a more appropriate super chat than from a name like that? It's so true. Psalms 37, brother. Much love and respect to you and your family. Yes, amen to that. Someone asked me about an hour ago if I was 30 and I could go back and give myself some advice to my 30-year-old self. What would it be? Don't listen to, read, or spend any of your time or life getting involved in politics or politicians. And don't worry about remodeling your house. Just live in it. And take care of your teeth. Those are the three things that I would. Those are the three things that I would tell you. And don't go to public school. Oh, super chats. Oh goodness, I'm backing up here. Well, now that Overton told me how I can find them here, let's bring them up to the top. I feel like King Solomon. All is vanity and is striving after wind. Overton, coming with a super chat, says, drop Red Bull and you'll lose 14 pounds in a week. Did you lose 14 pounds in a week? Boy, that's interesting. 2 pounds a day? I have not experienced weight loss like that. Now, it's not uncommon when you start, when you clean up your diet and you start eating whole foods, to have significant weight loss in the first week, but it's not necessarily weight loss. You have a lot of water retention, especially if you eat a lot of salty food. So you can get demoralized. You'll have these huge gains in your first 10, 14 days, and then it will slow down once you get kind of get balanced out a little bit. So I guess it's possible. I don't know. I don't drink Red Bull, but that tells me that there's something very bad in Red Bull if it's causing you to retain that much water, because you can't lose fat. You can't lose that much fat in 7 days. So it can only be water. Goodness, that's interesting. We have a super chat from Shrekius. Shrekius says, Spectrum has irritated me with their pricing. How do you like Starlink? Even with it's been excellent. Everyone, I have 3 of them. Everyone I know is using it out here, and it's been not perfect, but it's been excellent. You can game on it. It's awesome. I've got no gripes, and for it to be portable, Luke's got one too. To have the ability to have it portable is game changing. I've got the Starlink Mini, and it's awesome. It's awesome. 308 Husk, I got your test. Oh, thanks, Luke, for turning me on how to get those super chats. That's nice. I never knew how to do that. Lose more than 100 pounds at 17? I'm not sure what the context of that is. Knipex or Klein hand tools? Knipex are, in my opinion, Knipex are next level over Klein. I don't think Klein is what it used to be. And Klein are more geared towards electrical work and electrician specific work. I don't find a lot of their stuff to be suitable for general purpose. Where Knipex, your Cobra pliers, and I mean, I would never ever take anything from Klein over Knipex, personally, unless they made a tool that was electrical specific. Suppressors, yes, I have suppressors. Oh, I see. You weighed 390 pounds in 1997? My goodness. Can you imagine being 400 pounds? It creeps up on you, man. I get it. I can't. I've never ever been anywhere close to that. I I'm far too active. I have too many. I'm too active. Too many hobbies. I would not. That would never be able to happen for me. I can't even relate to that. But what an accomplishment to lose it. I mean, I know how hard it was just to look at losing 35 pounds. Like, it seemed like it insurmountable because it takes so long. Shout out to you, man. What an accomplishment. If you can do that, you can accomplish anything. 19 hours? What does that mean? Not sure what that means. Looks like it's starting to snow again. 19 hours. What does 19 hours mean? Starlink is good. Yeah, it's very good. I no longer watch Grantham. No, no, I can't. I could never look at him the same way. I mean, I don't hate on him, but you know, I've been faithful and loyal to my wife for 23 years. I put in the sacrifice and the hard work both of us have to maintain that. We made a priority of it. We have walked our talk. I've been a family values guy. I've talked about the importance of being the priest of your household, of being faithful in marriage, honoring God in your marriage, and I have lived it to the best of my abilities. Grantham did much of the same thing at the end of his videos. I watched all of them. Inspirational quotes at the end, and the importance of being a father, and the importance of being a husband, and sharing the pictures and painting that image and the trad relationship and all of that. And the whole time he was lying to us while he is having these perverted conversations and chasing these girls around, betraying his marriage, his oath to God, and to his children. Now, if a guy's going to do that and have that relationship, that's none of my business. But let's call it for what it is. Let's not be telling a story, painting a narrative to